Hey guys, it's Eric from Hong Kong based in Germany. I've been investing since I was 17 years old for almost 20 years. I invest in all sorts of things: bonds, stocks, mutual funds, CFDs, options, you name it. Today I want to talk about sell rumor and buy news. Sounds very familiar, right? Well, probably you heard something totally opposite from my other videos. If you haven't seen those videos yet, click here or click here to check them out. So why am I saying something completely different? Well, because different kind of news. I was talking about good news. When you heard good news, buy the rumor and then sell the news. So when the news is confirmed, it's time to sell. But today I'm talking about bad news. So bad news, you should do the complete opposite. To sell the rumor and buy news. What do I mean? So when you heard something bad about the company, the rumor, you should sell it first. And by the time it is confirmed, the price would have factored into the bad news. So basically it's already hitting the bottom. Of course, we can never accurately understand where exactly the bottom unless you have the crystal ball. So today I want to talk about BAIC. This is a spontaneous video because obviously they had the annual results out today. And many of you actually asked me to provide more information or insights. A number of you actually asked me before the annual results and say, hey, should I buy it before or after the results? And I told those guys, if you see the remarks I made in the first video about BAIC, buy this instead of BYD. I would say it's after, because two reasons. First of all, the NAV would not change too much. It's very unlikely the NAV would change, but there's a chance that the results might be worse than expected. Then the stock price would go down. This will provide a really good chance for us to buy it because since the NAV remains the same, that means that the PB ratio, the price to book ratio, is even lower. So we see that the BAIC stock actually went down even before the results were announced. And of course, today the results were announced. There are two reasons. First reason, before the result was announced, was because the general sentiments in Hong Kong. It actually had nothing to do with BAIC. Well, the second reason was that, of course, the results were worse than expected. So the profits went down almost 60% compared with last year to around 2.0 billion RMB. This is lower than the estimate of 2.8 billion RMB. And the dividend also went down for more than half. So this is very unfortunate. I mean, of course, the good news is that the revenue remained the same. So the drop in profits were mainly attributed to the local brands, which is the Beijing brand, instead of Mercedes. The Mercedes one actually had a really good result and even had a growth of revenue of around 8.7%. So the main reason that I want to invest in this company was the low price to book ratio, PB ratio. And the NAV remains more or less stable or even went up a little bit. I expect stock price will still go down a little bit because of the market sentiment, especially now. There are many Chinese companies which are listed in the US or being forced to delist. That's why the Chinese stock related to technology is doing pretty badly. And also there's one more thing. There was a recall of 32,000 vehicles announced on the 24th of March. So I would expect that normal people, if they saw that, they thought that, oh, that's really bad news, I'm going to sell it off. But the trick is that actually there's no financial consequences for BAIC because it was something to do with the batteries. The battery company agreed that they're going to cover all the costs related to the recall of the cars. So these three reasons would make the stock price go down. I personally would see that as an opportunity to buy more because the NAV remains the same, even went up a little bit, but the PB ratio would go down further because the stock price would go down further. And there's no justification to have such a low PB compared with other companies. So in summary, the share price went down in the past few days for a number of reasons. One of them, local Hong Kong sentiments in the market, which doesn't affect BAIC's business at all. Secondly, the general sentiments of Chinese stocks, especially those listed in the US. The third point, of course, is the worse than expected results. But note that the revenue remains the same. Of course, the profit went down more than expected. That's why the stock price went down. And I would expect the stock price to go down a little bit further upon the news of the recalling of the 32,000 vehicles. And our main focus is on the NAV. The NAV remains the same. However, since the price is going down further, the PB ratio would go down as well. This is the perfect moment to apply the sell the rumor and buy the news. The rumor about the bad results has been circulating for months. By now it has been confirmed and it's time to buy the news because the stock price has already factored in the bad news. The only word of caution is that, of course, if the tide turns from bull market to bear market in a situation similar to 2008, which we see black swan event like the bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers that punched a hole into the bubble, of course, then I would advise everyone to sell all the stocks. I will have separate videos to talk about what to do during the bear markets. But for now, if you like the video, please like, share, and comment. And remember to subscribe to our channel. It will have great motivation for us to continue making more videos with more in-depth information about other stocks.